Under the vast, star-dusted canopy of a moonlit forest, a sense of profound peace settled over the clearing. John worked with quiet efficiency, pulling the last tent stake taut, while his German shepherd, Max, lay by the nascent campfire, his head resting on his paws. The gentle crackle and pop of the flames were the only sounds that punctuated the deep silence of the woods, a comforting rhythm that lulled them into a false sense of security. The firelight danced across the tall pines, casting long, shifting shadows that seemed to guard their small island of warmth and light against the encroaching darkness. It was a perfect night, a serene escape from the noise of the world, shared between a man and his most trusted companion. The tranquility was shattered in an instant. Max, with a suddenness that startled John, shot to his feet. A low, guttural growl rumbled in his chest, a sound John had rarely heard. His ears were perked, his body tense and aimed like an arrow into the impenetrable darkness beyond the campfire's glow. John followed his gaze, his heart beginning to pound against his ribs. Then he saw them. A pair of luminous yellow eyes materialized in the void, burning with a cold, predatory light. Another pair appeared, then another, and another, blinking into existence like malevolent stars. Slowly, the shapes they belonged to detached themselves from the shadows. A pack of wolves, lean and hungry, emerged into the faint moonlight, their movements silent and fluid. A massive wolf, larger than the rest, its fur matted and its face crisscrossed with old scars, stepped forward. Dai was the alpha. Tilting its head back, it unleashed a chilling howl that sliced through the night air, a declaration of war that echoed through the trees and chilled John to the bone. Adrenaline surged through John's veins. He snatched a heavy, burning branch from the fire, the end glowing like a molten spear. "Get back! Get away!" He yelled, his voice raw with a mixture of fear and defiance as he waved the makeshift torch at the advancing predators. The wolves didn't scatter. Instead, they began to circle, a fluid ring of teeth and claws tightening around the small camp. They lunged and retreated, testing their defenses, their yellow eyes fixed on their prey. Max refused to yield an inch. He stood his ground directly in front of John, a furry wall of courage, his bark sharp and ferocious, a desperate challenge to the wild horde. He was the guardian of their small flame of life against the overwhelming darkness. Sensing a momentary weakness on their flank, Max lunged with explosive force, sinking his teeth into the shoulder of a wolf that had crept too close. The wolf yelped in pain and surprise, creating a crucial opening in the encircling pack. Seizing the opportunity, John thrust the flaming branch toward the alpha, the fire roaring as it met the air. The massive wolf flinched back, momentarily blinded and singed. This was their chance. A chaotic, desperate fight erupted. The clearing became a whirlwind of fur, snarls, and the frantic crackle of the firebrand. Max fought with a primal bravery that astounded John, snapping and biting, throwing himself at any wolf that dared to charge. He took wounds, his fur becoming matted with blood, but his spirit never faltered. He fought not just for his own life, but for the life of the man he loved, a loyal sentinel against the savagery of the night. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The ferocity of the man and his dog was something the pack had not anticipated. Wounded and weary, Max stood panting over one of the last wolves, which whined and scrambled back, finally retreating. As if on a silent command, the rest of the pack melted away, their glowing eyes vanishing one by one back into the deep shadows from whence they came. The clearing fell silent once more, the only sounds the heaving breaths of John and Max and the soft crackle of the dying fire. John dropped the branch, the adrenaline leaving him weak and trembling, and rushed to his dog's side. Kneeling in the dirt, he gently ran his hands over Max's body, his fingers finding the warm, wet patches of his wounds under the flickering firelight. As the first, gentle rays of dawn painted the eastern sky in hues of pink and gold, the nightmare of the night felt like a distant dream. John sat with his back against a tree, carefully cleaning and bandaging Max's injuries with strips of cloth from his own shirt. The dog winced but remained still, trusting him completely. When he was done, John pulled his loyal friend into a tight, desperate hug, burying his face in Max's fur. He felt a soft, warm tongue lick the tears and grime from his cheek. In the quiet morning light, surrounded by the remnants of their battle, their bond, forged in loyalty and tempered by fire, was stronger and more unbreakable than ever.